Friday's live stream with Sid and Sweets. This is the Recoup weekly hour-long check-in. I'm Sid. This is Sweets. And before we get into it, let's ask the question. Sweets, in one word, how you feeling and what do you need?
I'm feeling loved.
Nice.
I need patience on priorities. On your side, in one word, how are you feeling today? And in one sentence, what do you need?
I'm feeling excited. I need results. But it's been a good week. Let's dive into it. Where do you want to begin?
The two questions I would like answered during this call are: what are Sid's next steps to convert Rostrum Records to a paid customer? And what are my top priorities for next week? Are there other questions that you would like to have answered before this call ends that we should add to that list?
No, I think that's good.
Out of those two, do you have a one you'd prefer starting with? Sid's next step to convert Rostrum Records, or focusing on priorities for next week?
I can start with the rostrum because that's the easiest. It won't take too long. I have a call today at 3 p.m. with their team, Benji, and then his space heater team, which is like their distribution company. I sent you the basic kind of where we're at, so you're aligned with, like, the conversation. The email that he sent to start that thread was after I had a couple calls with him throughout the week and talked with him. So there was that context as well, him just basically kind of like qualifying. The next steps is to just jump on the call with them today and talk to his dev team that is working on his distribution. I'd imagine it's just going to be a qualifying call, or them just kind of trying to pick apart Recoup, or ask questions. I'm not exactly sure where the call is going to go. But yeah, it's just more just kind of showing love, talking through with them, et cetera, seeing kind of where they're at. I did a little bit of deep dive on at least one of the people on the call, who is, I guess, their tech lead on the project, Nick. He seems qualified and like a good dev. So yeah, I guess it's just kind of getting to know them, understanding like kind of what their tech stack is, what they're focused on building when it comes to space heater, how they're thinking through AI, and then how Recoup can integrate and help expand that and what they're building.
So currently the status is qualifying calls?
Correct.
Once qualifying calls end, what do you have a next step in mind, or is it a singularity that you don't know what the next step is until you have fully completed the status of qualifying calls?
Yeah, it's a singularity. I will know more after this call what the next step is. But I think we're close to the finish line. And actually, I was going to say, if you want to join the call at 3, you can. But I can also, because I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, so I can also record it so that you're on the same page, just in case it doesn't. It does become more meeting rather than tech. But yeah, up to you.
Rostrum Records seems to be your biggest focus, and you've been curating that relationship so far. It seems like that's the biggest focus for you on the business side in terms of revenue generating opportunities. So I want to make sure I support you in that. If the best way I can support you is to be on it, I'm happy to join. if you are cooking and you just want to keep going.
Yeah, let me cook, and then if I need you, I'll ping you.
Copy.
Cool. But yeah, I'm excited about this. It's a good opportunity, and they seem like a good fit. So yeah, and then I mean, while we're here, I'll also give you a quick update on just like the other customer stuff I've been working on. Reached out to Carolyn from Big Kids. I told you about that on Wednesday. Followed up with her again to get a call in sometime next week to show her what you're building, basically the new artist flow pipeline. And then got an awesome email or DM from Keys. I saw that he was using the platform yesterday, so I just pinged him on DM and said, hey, like, let me know if you need anything. And he sent a great response saying, like, this is genius, like, it's so much smarter now. So that was great response. And so yeah, getting really good feedback, and now I think we're just hitting that point of like, what tools can we add, what agents can we add to continue to keep the momentum going. So I'm excited.
On business side, what customers do you think are either currently adding the most revenue or have the potential to add the most revenue to the bottom line?
Rostrum, Big Ass Kids are the two I'm focusing on. Rostrum, because they're an enterprise label. So it's one customer that will allow us to just get into the nitty gritty of how a successful indie label operates. And it's coming directly from the CEO. So like, I'm positioning it in a way where we'll be able to shadow, like, his teams inside the record label and just sit on a call with them for 2 hours and be like, let me watch what are you doing? Let me see if I can figure out how I can add an agent to your workflow. And so like just literally getting that personal with the users, I'm really excited about. And then the other is Big Ass Kids. And that's coming from a lot of the artists that they are working with, not on their label, but just as like in their community. So it's like the opportunity for us to just like onboard more artists who are like at the stage of their career where they're looking for distribution, and Big Ass Kids will almost help us qualify those leads because she's qualifying them for her model anyways, and then passing them to us if they qualify. So those are the two that I'm really excited about. And so I want to get those two customers, like, make sure our attention is on them, make sure, I'm giving Benji what he needs, and Carolyn already told us exactly what she needs, which is to shave 30 minutes of her work through the onboarding experience that you're building right now. So if we can deliver that to her, hey, we're in the green with her. And if I just continue to jump on calls with Benji and build that relationship, we're in the green with them. Sweet. Those are my big updates. Not too much this week. It was that, just following up with them, and then helping Verbal, and a couple little messing arounds with prompt suggestions and stuff like that, but never shipped it because I got to the point where I just started having fun with the PR, and then it was 1,000 lines, and then I was like, no way am I shipping this, so I'm starting over, but from a better place. How's your week been?
Your attention is your magic is something I've been coming to realize. So you focusing on fewer things is allowing you to use more of your magical powers to be more impactful with the things you're focused on. I don't know if you've ever seen that experiment, but there's like a quantum experiment of photons being shot at a blank piece of paper. And if it's unobserved, it acts in one way. And if it's observed, it acts in a different way. And so your attention directly changes whatever it is you're focusing on. And so you prioritizing rostrum and big ass kids and just keeping your attention on them, even if it doesn't feel like it's moving quickly, knowing that that's the most important part of the chessboard and keeping your attention on it, I find is more valuable than you trying to run around to ship Veerball's code, ship your own code, trying to do sales stuff. Personally, I think your magic is more powerful when you're focused on fewer things.
I appreciate it. And I love the quote, your attention is your magic.
My week has been focused on onboarding flow. Tools that I've built include create new artist tool, search Spotify tool. Let me briefly swipe back. Yeah, the search Spotify tool, create new artist tool, delete artist tool, and then getting those tools integrated into the flow. Have you already tested, would you mind testing the latest version of the create artist flow with the lens to answer the question of what is missing from the current onboarding flow to provide a top tier experience for your focus of big ass kids and onboarding those artists?
Yeah, let me do it. Can you see my screen?
I can. Let me move our PFPs before you click anything. How can I move us? We need moved over there. There we go. Okay, now we can see the bottom right. Go ahead.
All right, cool. I just clicked create new artist. And
it got stuck.
Yeah.
Can you click it again?
Click this again, like right here.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
And now we're stuck again, maybe. Let's see if it redirects in a couple seconds. If no, click it a third time. I think 3 is the number to actually get over it right now. And we're thinking, do we get redirected to a new chat room? Okay, it's reasoning. Bunch of flashes, not fun. Induce some seizures in some people. I think that's the album name. Artist name was Jack Van Cleef in the UK.
Oh, really? Oh, good call.
Interesting. It didn't even work. Try the real artist name.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Try click on the artist name to go to their profile.
Yeah, it's still gonna be like a
Oi.
Oi. All right, let me just do this. Just make sure we're writing the right one.
And let me pull up the errors to see what happened on artist creation.
Do you want me to wait to send this?
Yeah, give me 1 sec to pull up the error.
Cool.
Logs. Error associating artist with account. Key account ID of that account is not present in table account. Message insert or update on table account artist IDs, account artist IDs, violates foreign key constraints, account artist IDs, account ID. makes me think it tried to associate the artist with your profile before creating the artist. So create artist button, first click, and then artist name. Account before account artist IDs, which should be happening, but seems like there's a bug. So try it again.
Should I just create a new artist or should I send this?
Send that one. Let's keep moving down this path. Try a new one in this case. So if you're in a chat and you click the plus button, does it always work on the first time? Is it only when you're on the landing page that we get that bug?
Good question.
I'm thinking right now the solution is redirect to the new page first and then send this prompt, but I'll dig deeper into it. But I'm thinking I thought the redirect was the reason when it redirects you to a new chat page, but I definitely got to debug this one.
Nice.
Interesting. I wonder what happened. Okay, it should have auto searched. Can you just reply yes? So I got to figure out how to get it to actually always do it. Is there more? Can you scroll sideways? We got 5. Copy. Okay. So back to the question, what is missing from top tier onboarding for big ass kids? I've already written down the create artist button. On first click, it should work. You shouldn't have to click it 3 times to get to a successful state. The error that you saw on a artist setup, we got into a weird state and it was giving us an error. So I got to debug that. Other than those 2, what else is I guess I should also write down Spotify tool should auto call. As soon as your account's created, it should auto show you those results from Spotify. You shouldn't have had to send yes to get Spotify results. What else outside of those is missing what else is missing for top tier onboarding for big ass kids?
So the remaining thing is selecting which one of these, right?
Correct.
So you select that one. And then filling in PFP.
Search automated. No. So missing Spotify PFP. What else?
And then running the deep research.
Run deep research. What else?
And saving that to the knowledge base.
Deep research plus knowledge base. Yep.
And that's it. The only other thing I'm thinking through, but this is again like if you want to like you're doing it in your way, which is fine. The final kind of like thought process is how do we combine as much of this as possible so that the user has to put in less information to get the same results.
What steps do you feel can be removed right now?
So they click create new artist, and then it does this, and then they put in Jack Van Cleef, and then it creates an artist with Jack Van Cleef, and then would you like me to check if there's existing Spotify data?
That should happen automatically. I agree. We want to remove that yes prompt that you had to do there. Are you saying that we want to auto assume the first result and not have them click the result from the list of PFPs? Or is there a different step you're highlighting could be removed from this process?
I'm trying to think like a user. Let me think. So if we go to our example, let me show you kind of, where is Figma? Let me pull up Figma to kind of give you a example of another variation. It's not a chatbot version of this, but maybe it's the fact that it's creating the artist first and then we're validating, as opposed to us validating before creating the artist. That feels clunky, but let me just see. New autopilot, new. Artist home, where is onboarding? Here we go. Okay, so in the Symphony OS example, it says, let's set up your profile, enter your artist name or Spotify. And when you type it, it like just shows all of the options and then you click connect. And it's like, and then it sets up your artist, right? Like, and then, so it's maybe, and so I guess it's combining what you said. It's like combining, it's not calling a tool. When you do the search, it just kind of automatically shows the options that it finds. But I guess this isn't the biggest deal. Like what's more important is combining these two things and then the deep research and save to knowledge base. So yeah, never mind. I don't want to overcomplicate this. Just continue down the path you're going, simplify where you think you can simplify, and let's just knock this out. And then we can make it amazing once it works. Sorry for going down the rabbit hole.
It's good you went down the idea rabbit hole. Now I understand more of how you were thinking. And if you didn't mention that, I would have been wondering what your ideal experience is and what the difference is. And now I at least understand your top tier experience is Symphony in your mind. And right now, one of the things we're missing is as you type, having it auto show results as you type, to prevent a step of we show you results and then you click on it, you just, as you type, it shows and you just click the one that you want.
Yeah. If you like to get everything that you got to get done, but if you want to just like go sign up for Symphony and create an artist, I think it's free, and just feel that flow and feel like where theirs is better and where's ours is better, and just borrow anything that from theirs that you're like, oh, this is cool how they did that. But like at the end of the day, like we just need to be able to create an artist, do deep knowledge research.
Yeah, maybe because right now I'm the current thought I've had is make a bunch of small tools and write the descriptions in those tools so that those tools get chained together. So you have create artist, search Spotify, update a user profile, and then the AI calls it, okay, let's create the artist, then let's search Spotify, and then after we get the result from Spotify, let's update that artist profile with the info. In the solution you're doing, it is feeling to me like a bigger monolithic tool of create artist tool is bigger. The result shows a UI component. We do the drop down in the UI component. You click on it and the UI component becomes bigger there. And so it's less chat and less empowering the AI and more, the exact flow that you want to take from Symphony. And we are building an experience for create artist. And it's less usable in other contexts. There's less that the AI can do outside of this create artist flow, but we are focusing on making the exact create artist experience that you are envisioning.
No, I like what you're saying. What I would rather do with our infrastructure is smaller tools and more system prompt injection on how we want the tools to be called, right? Yeah. So I think, the more we can chain things together and make it feel more agentic, the better. I would say that what's more important what's more important, and this is a stretch, Sweet. So this is like a V2. This is like me going one more step than we need to. So take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. What's more important than following the monolithic framework of a Web 2.0 platform is automating, and we'd have to get more information from Carolyn specifically, but automating the process so that she doesn't even need to create a new artist herself. When she books a meeting with an artist in her calendar for onboarding, it automatically creates a new artist in her account, does the deep research. And so on the back end, she just needs to come to Recoup, click her new artist that she has a meeting with, and it's already filled up with a knowledge base. The artist is already created. It's all there. Like that would be the fucking agentic workflow that we want to create. But again, that's a V2 of this. And I think we'd also need to talk to her about like what tools she's using to book meetings,
right,
et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
So let's just get it working first, and then let's think through what can make it better.
To show you and everybody a little bit more of how I built the tools, these are the 3 new tools I've added so far this week. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Is the text size okay?
Yes.
The main tool that I'm focusing on is Create Artist. This is the one that gets called on when you click the button, and then this one gets chained. But how I've been building it so far is like you were saying, system prompt. The tool prompt is what I've been using to chain it. So create a new artist account in the system. The tool should be called whenever someone wants to create a new artist profile, requires artist name, account ID of the person to associate with admin access, and the room ID to copy the first conversation. That way we get their first conversation. After the artist is created, immediately call the Get Spotify search tool with type of artist to check for any existing Spotify data to connect with the account. If called, reply with the artist name and the artist account ID. Do not share any other info unless explicitly asked. And so this is me trying to get it to automatically chain the Get Spotify search result, this Get Spotify search tool immediately after. I'm thinking I can just restructure this and put more emphasis on don't ask me if I should do it, just do it. But this is my current thinking for how I chain tools together, is instead of adding it to the system prompt and creating an ever-growing system prompt that is included in every single thing, updating the tool. That way it's only in the context of we're creating an artist, and then inside of the Create Artist tool, everything that I need to chain of, I think it's going to be Get Artist, Get Search, and then Get Deep Research, and then just like chain them in this way of like tell it the things that I need to do. This is how I'm currently thinking of it. I have not seen any examples of anybody doing this. This is just my lived experience telling me that this is the way to go. Knowing that nobody else is, I've not seen anybody else doing this, and I'm not following a guide. Do you have any feedback or any questions to pose to determine if this is the correct path to be building on to create the top tier onboarding for big ass kids that is going to make Caroline and big ass kids higher likelihood to churn or convert to paid customers?
Yes.
What ways do you think that this could be improved, or does this feel like the correct path, or do you have notes on how it could be better?
I think this feels like the exact correct path. I think once you implement deep research, that implementation is going to help you think about chaining tools.
Yeah.
Because they do that very well in deep research. So just implementing that is going to give you a new approach on, or widen the thought process of chaining these things together. And so I think just like, let's go down this path, man, and let's not overthink it. Because again, like we said, I 1,000% agree with you and really appreciate and respect you calling me when I'm pulling back to V2s, what I'm used to, which is, oh man, this they do it this way, so why not do it this way? When in reality, like we don't want any UI. The less UI, the better. An artist should be booked in a calendar. The agent should go and do all of this shit, and she just needs to go into Recoup and get it. Even better, then she gets emailed a PDF that says, "Here's everything that I found. Here's your script for your meeting." Like,
Right.
artist books, she gets an email, boom, it's done. All behind the scenes. She never even has to go into the platform to do anything.
Agreed.
Boom. And like that is like, so let's less focus on, I'm just saying this out loud for myself, less focus on the monolithic design, what people are used to, more focus on back end agentic tool calling so the user doesn't have to do shit.
I didn't think of it that way. I agree 100% with that's going into the hypothesis of the agent is the interface, and that's the North Star that we're building towards. So less UI components. I agree. And as you said, the deep research, that made me think, oh, how did they do it in the master class? And I'm remembering in the master class, they're not doing tool calls. It's all CLI, and he manually hard coded, do this, then this, then this. And there's no other complexity. It's just enter in a prompt, and then the only thing it does is deep research. And so the design constraints are much more limited. They're not, in his video of his masterclass, he wasn't building a full product. It was just the only thing it did was deep research. And so there was less complexity that they had to think through for chaining tools together. Going back to like, are there any, the question for myself is, are there any good production examples that I can reference for chaining tool calls together to create something like Create Artist, where we want to chain multiple tools together?
Yes, there are.
What examples can I follow?
You can get Manus Tools system prompts. Give me a second. I have it. I found it.
You want to share?
Yeah. Manus.
Got your screen?
I don't know if this is the right one, but I just literally searched Google for Manus tool prompt and click this one. Manus AI prompts is here. So there's a couple different variations of this. People trying to jailbreak these. So they have them listed here. This is the agent loop. And then they go into the modules of how it's doing event streams, the agent loop that it's doing, the planner module that it's doing, the knowledge module. And it's doing exactly what you're saying. Like, it's just giving it directions and then saying, call these the agent loop.
This is great to see.
Example for the data source module code example. The create a to-do list rules. Files, info, browser, how to use the browser. How to use the shell. So I can send you this. Error handling, sandbox environment. Oh, here's the prompt. All right, hold on. This is the general system prompt. Telling it what it can do, what tools it has, what programming languages it knows, how it approaches its tools and things, what its limitations are. So that's the system. The document provides guidance on creating effective prompts when working with assistants. And then how I approach tasks. Oh, here's a tools.json. Bam.
Function message. Ask user. Can you do a global search for any of those function names?
Which one?
Message notify user, message ask user. Okay, it's only here, not referenced anywhere else. Can you search any of the others? See if they're referenced anywhere. Interesting. So they're not referencing the tools anywhere in the system instructions. Is file read referenced or file write, either of those tools? Interesting. So it has tools, but nowhere in the system instructions are they referencing at least the tool names in their system prompts.
Well, wait, there might be. Hold on, let's see.
And within their other tools, they're not referencing the other tool names. So they, in this example, they are doing all of the tool chaining logic in system prompts like you had originally said, instead of in tool descriptions like I was thinking. From your perspective, which part of these instructions jump out to you as most important? Is there any aspect of this that is resonating as secret sauce to be pulling from out of all these text files, all these lines of text?
No. I think you should continue down the path that you're going and explore when you have room for exploration. I'll give you this GitHub and a couple other things that I send you.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't ran into anything that is telling you otherwise.
No, your test right there was like, ah, shoot, I didn't do everything perfect. Out of what you just shared, one thing that jumped out to me was adding tags. And so I think what I'm going to try to do to fix the bug you just saw of you had to say yes for it to continue, I'll try to throw in some tags of like tool loop and then say you first execute, then you call this tool, and then you call this tool, and try to just give it a little tag wraparound of like, hey, this is the important instructions you should follow. And
yeah, this is also cursor. Manus, let's look at cursor tool prompts. See if we can find cursors. Cursor prompts and instructions. No, I can't find. I mean, we don't have to do it right now, but I'll just go do research and I'll drop them in a thread. And whenever you want to go research and experiment, like there'll just be a place for you to go look at prompts from other apps. Yeah. Also, keep in mind that like that says that it's the real one,
right? But it was written by some random person.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'll go do more research to see like how many stars are there. Are there other versions that say different things? But yeah, I think just keep continuing down the path you're going and experimenting. That's going to be the win here.
Copy.
And just keeping me grounded, going back to like UI is cool, and when we show it, it needs to be pretty. But we always want to opt for, do we need to show it? Or is the ideal scenario the agent is the UI?
It's the ideal that they don't even see our app at all. And so building these fancy UI components aren't for anybody.
Correct. The only way is if they go into the app, but why would we want them to go into the app unless they're actually deep diving? And in that case, they're not setting up a new artist.
Ideal, we tell Caroline to go into Zapier, plug in whatever her calendar is. Whenever you get a new invite, result is hit our API endpoint. We give one single API endpoint. Every calendar triggers our agent, and our agent runs through all the steps on its own, whether it's Zapier or something else. I agree with you.
He doesn't do Zapier. We do Zapier. We do
we do the white glove setup of that for her.
Because we have her email. We have her email. Like, so if she can just give us access to her calendar, like I don't know what she's using, but like, you know, figuring that part out would be ideal, right? Like, then she literally, like, anytime she books a meeting and it follows whatever the format is that says it's an onboarding call, we already know she's going to need deep research. She's going to need, she's going to want these questions answered. Boom, 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 boom. And then she just gets it before the call. She's good. That is artist onboarding in the agent world.
Agreed. Top priorities for me. I'm still focused on onboarding as my top priority. What other priorities what other tasks would support you in focusing on rostrum records and big ass kids that are more important than onboarding, the current path I'm on?
None.
In that case, this is still my focus going into next week. The question that I have is, what are my top priority tasks for next week? Onboarding is still the top focus. I didn't do image generations can be viewed on in process or deleting the deprecated API endpoints. So I think focusing me on this is important, and maybe just adding 3 points of detail for me to benchmark where I'm at with onboarding. Number 1 is Spotify PF. In your mind, what would be the 3 benchmarks? I was thinking Spotify PFP is one of the, I think Spotify PFP, deep research and knowledge base, and all tools are chained together automatically are the 3 benchmarks. Are there any other benchmarks from your perspective, not building it, but being on the customer focus side, that might be better benchmarks for me to orient the work around to make sure I'm building towards your definition of success?
No, I think those are all great. If we're going to put them in order, I'm going to put, I don't want to say order of importance, because obviously the deep research results is the number 1 priority. Okay. Because we're using, I'm doing it manually. We're competing against other high level deep research agents. And so that's like the number 1 priority. Is our deep research giving us the results equivalent or better than what we're currently getting manually?
Right.
Number 2 is Spotify PFP, just to make the user experience fun and organized and happy. And then finally is call all tools, right? All right. Yep. It makes it easier, but like it doesn't, nothing's stopping that. Again, going back to what's more important than calling all tools, I would say, is the agent is the interface, but that's V2 of this. So I think you have your work cut out for you when it comes to deep research. I think that's going to be the fun part of this, is tweaking those prompts and that algorithm to get the deep research results on par with, other chat clients, deep research clients.
We have roughly 15 minutes left, roughly 15, 20 minutes left. My questions have been answered. What is Sid's next step to convert rostrum records to a paid customer? And what are my top priorities for next week? We're usually not in this place of having time left over, so throwing it to you.
Oh, sweet.
What else do you want to fill this with?
Oh, Coinbase
and Base. I was just thinking through, deep research might be good for me to build as a standalone app, which would be good to highly align with Coinbase and Base prompts. The current place I'm in is on the Coinbase side. Dan, I was paid for April. I just asked them during this week, what is missing for April for me to invoice you for May? And Dan Kim, he's either head of biz dev for Coinbase or I think he's head of biz dev for Coinbase, replied back, talk to Lincoln, who's the founder of Agent Kit, for what else is remaining for April. For May, let me get back to you. And I've not followed up with him yet to say, did you do anything else? That was a couple days ago. So there's a fearful part of me that says Coinbase might not renew. On the Base side, I just delivered the last thing that Eric, head of DevRel at Base, was asking me to deliver, which was the final live stream. I did that today I did it yesterday for sub accounts. He's about to go on vacation for a week, so I needed to make sure I had this in beforehand. And I just asked him as well, what is the prompt for next week? And I kind of asked it, if he gives me that prompt, it's me kind of auto rolling over and assuming that we're going into next month. But both contracts are in a place where I need them to tell me if we're continuing into the month that is already going on of May. Part of me wants to just build forward into this next week, assuming that we are, so that I'm proactive about it and I'm not waiting. So I think saying all that just to give you context on where I'm at in terms of the contract, we're rolling over into a new month. So I need to make sure that both of them are confirming that we're moving on to a new month. Assuming we are, I think Deep Research Tool is probably the best, because the two prompts that we had for this week was sub accounts for base, which really only works if you're connecting your wallet. You sign in with the smart wallet and then a sub account is given. I don't think we want that into the main Recoup app. And so what I can do for the Deep Research Tool, build it as a standalone app first and have people log in with the smart wallet. We use the sub account. And then at the end of all the generation, the text file, which we will be in the main Recoup app storing as the knowledge base. In the standalone app, we can store it on chain, on in process as a TXT file or as a PNG, and then associate it with the sub account and use the sub account with Paymaster. And so I can have sub account plus in process is the direct what the prompt was for this week, not knowing what the prompt is for next week. And on the Coinbase side, they just announced X402, and that was what I was building out this week. And let me just give the quick showing everybody, if they're not already familiar with it. The link I've been getting was from Coop, because Coop got a special link that I didn't get, and I haven't been able to find the link that he got, but I like how they presented it in that announcement. X402 is a new standard for internet native payments. 402 has always existed. If you look up HTTP status codes, and then if you look at like W3 schools, nobody's updated. These sites exist and they probably have no idea that X402 came out. But you look at it, 402 has always meant payment required. But for the entire history of the internet, everybody has just footnoted it as reserved for future use whenever someone actually decides to implement the functionality. And now we actually have someone who's built an open protocol with no API keys required. And so the other thing that we could do on this deep research demo is you can generate the deep research for free. When it finishes, reveal results button shows up. And when you click reveal results, we then prompt you to, using X402, pay us whatever we decide those results are worth for a standalone deep research. And then you pay using X402, and then the results are revealed, and then they're stored on in process, et cetera. But you don't get your results until you pay us. And so we give the ability to jump in, do the deep research for free to see all the thinking and all the logic for how it does it all. But when the results are finally about to come after you've seen all that work happen, use X402 to add a paywall there where you have to pay. So pay to view results. Those are my initial thoughts on how we could tie in Coinbase, their prompts for this week into the build I'll do next week of a standalone deep research. I went down a long yap there of just where my ideas initially went. What's your feedback? Does that feel like a good alignment? Is there not good alignment for the current prompts? Out of everything I said, do you have any idea on where you want to drive feedback on what I just said for Coinbase and Base?
Thinking. No. No, I think that's good. I think that's a good integration. We can figure out really I think it's a good integration to start with the X402 like that. Do I think that that's probably the best use case? No, but we can go into how to better use it once it's built. Like my initial thought was like, that sucks for me if I generate a bunch of deep research, but I can't see it. I got to pay for it, especially if like I don't have an agent that has like money that like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was just trying to think through how, but like, I guess that's not the point of this. The point is implement it into the product and then figure out how does it work and what's the best use case for it. So yeah, so maybe that's yeah. I think the way that you're thinking through it is great to like. How do we integrate these things on chain? How do we integrate the Coinbase and Base into the workflow? I like it. Like the one thing I was thinking is in the deep research, you tell it how many loops to go down and how much basic prompt treeing you're doing. So like it reads something and then it splits it into 4 questions and then it reads other stuff. And you can literally, you can have a deep research agent run for 5 minutes. You can have a deep research agent run for 20 minutes, so my thought was maybe integrating the payment system into how deep do you want the research to be rather than the entire, like you get free up to X amount of turns and it generates you something, but if you want to go deeper, you start to pay or something.
That does feel like a cleaner experience with less frustration from people who sat there and watched all the thinking.
Because that's something that I would always wish if I wish I was able to, like in the current deep research, it just does it and it locks it at like, it stops the deep research, and like you get what you get and you kind of cross your fingers if it's dope or not. And then I usually take a deep research and I pick like a section and I use that section to prompt another deep research into that specific section, And so like I chain my own deep researches together based on what I get, like the initial umbrella research. And then there's all of these, artist backstory, artist branding, artist this, artist that, like all of these things that you could do your own deep research on, but it doesn't. So I'm going and taking it and doing more. But if it was just able to like, cool, do that. Like I don't have to like copy paste, start a new conversation, that'd be fire. Also, like it would allow me, I would just run up credits all day and just let it, like now I have a deep research agent on my team that's 24/7 researching,
right? Real deep, not 5 minutes, but literally 24 hours.
Like what do you get?
What do you get?
What do you get if you run a deep research agent for a week? Like, that I don't even. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, that sounds crazy.
About 10 minutes left. What else have we not covered that you would like us to talk about on this weekly call?
Verbal. Next steps. I haven't checked out any of his code, but I have tried all of his stuff this week, and he's knocking stuff out in time.
And it's working?
It's working. He does, from a UI perspective, he does try to go above and beyond. It's a little clunky, so I always have to pull him back. But I like that he will go out of scope to like make something a little prettier, and yeah. So I mean, this week was pretty good from at least from like a testing and results scenario. Like I haven't dove into the code to see how elegant it is, how simple it is, etc.
But functionally it's working, and based off of how much you're paying him and the visual outputs you're getting, you're happy with the money in,
results out,
working results out. You're happy with that current execution?
Correct. I am. I think it, it adds to the iteration speed each week. So my thought or my question is, what's the best way to integrate him? I want to make it as easy for you, but also like, and realizing we can't, I don't want to ship anything until you review code. And it's Friday now. So like, I feel like you're going to review and find stuff that he needs to do. And then like, we're a week of iteration behind because he's going to go back and instead of new stuff next week, he's going to be tweaking the code.
Yeah.
So like, what's the best path forward? Is it something where we increase your month and I pay you, and then you start paying him, and you onboard him onto your team? Is it easier if we just keep the same way like this, and you just find some time to review his code when you can? I don't want to overload you. I know you have other stuff going on. I know we're in like a good kind of like flow over the last 2 weeks, so yeah, just want to talk through best way to move this forward.
We want to move forward with Veerball. The question is, how can we integrate him? What is the most seamless integration of him into the team to maximize his ability to ship while reviewing and enforcing high quality of code? I have not been reviewing because any time that I am reviewing is not time that I'm shipping, and I already didn't deliver the full list. And so instead of me going to review, any time that I've had was like, I need to ship. And then at the end of the day, I do go through my own code review channel and I review it so that way I can do dev stats, and Veerball's not in there. And so it's a different place for me to go to. I think bringing him into, at a minimum, bringing him into my Slack channel for code review will allow Jad to review his code initially to give initial sets of feedback. And two, at the end of every day when I review everything that happens, he is in my feed for me to directly view without me having to jump away. So the smallest change that could happen that will increase the number of eyes on his code, as well as increase the likelihood that I am reviewing and getting his code out, is get him into my Slack, into Voice First Slack, so that he can share his pull requests in my code review channel, keep all the payment and discussion of requirements the same, and just have him handle code review in my Slack. Would that work for you? Is that an option? Does that option feel okay to invite him into my Slack and I do code review in my code review channel?
Yes, whatever you recommend. Like, I want to make it as easy for you while maintaining momentum for the code, and leveraging him enough, like making sure that he's following the guidelines and we don't find ourselves in a position where we're getting tech debt.
Right.
That's
the main goal. Avoid tech debt. We love what we're seeing. We have not seen the results 3 to 6 months later of how much garbage is being brushed under the rug that we don't see when we just test it.
Correct. And so making sure that the garbage goes through you, because you now have a better understanding of the code base and, okay, this is going to be garbage, this is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, like, keep in mind, we're still in his training phase too. So like, a lot of the stuff I gave him this week was like smaller things, UI based, or like, upload file. Great. I don't know how he thought through that architecture. So we'll see.
Okay.
But you're going to know more about how much tech debt are we willing to take on, versus how much should we cut out? Like, obviously I'm cool with taking on some tech debt if it's not, if it makes us move fast and it's not like completely fucking up the entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
But you'll have a better understanding of, this is going to make huge tech debt down the line versus we can take this tech debt, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to be that much. And then also like thinking through like what his next week of scope should be. What are other things we want to ask him to do? What are some things that we can test him on that we're just not getting around to see kind of how, like, I'm curious, like, to find out how he thinks through things, if he's able to identify things without us asking. Something that I kind of was thinking is just like a ticket where it's just like, I want you to go through our UI and like not actually change stuff, but like make it better, make it more see what his taste is, where his taste lies. Because I like how he fixed the chat input thing on mobile. It was just in the wrong PR, but like he fixed it, and so cool. What else can you fix? What else do you see that's off that you can, And then anything else from the back end side of things that you can think of.
I do have a whole list that I didn't share with him.
Yeah, I know you had mentioned quicker initial.
I've got a whole list of stuff that I can give to him.
So what's best next steps with him? I know we have are we at time or 3 minutes or something? So
yeah. What I've written down for me to do with him today is right after this call, I'll send him and you a DM and say, hey, Veerbal, I know I haven't been reviewing your code. Is it okay if I invite you to could you join my Slack and post over there so that I can review your code today? And then if he replies and he joins over, then I'll review his code today with my devs. If he ends up saying no or he has issues with it, then come Monday, I'll figure out how I can reorient my time. I have a feeling he's going to say yes, but we'll see if he's still awake and all that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know. And then, yeah, I guess we should wait and not review or not give him anything else for next week until we review his code. So
that sounds like a good idea. If the pull requests start looking good, if I'm able to start reviewing today, I'll send you over the list of what I got. I guess I'll share it here on the call just because I already thought it out a little bit. Let me see if I can find the notes that I wrote for him. What tasks should be Veerbal had? I wrote out 1 new tool, 4 small updates, and 3 bug fixes. 1 new tool is get Twitter posts. I'm doing the get Spotify search, but making it so that we use Twitter and get Twitter posts in the same way that we're going to scrape Spotify, start moving away from the bulky agents into small tools. Small updates. The mermaid does not have a copy button. I want to be able to copy that mermaid chart. The same with image. I want to be able to click a copy button to copy an image that is generated. Segment fans, show when we call the segment fans tool, show that as a UI component.
He implemented that this week.
He's already done that. Same with the comments. When we pull comments, we show
for all tools.
He did it for everyone. Okay, so he did 2 of those points. And then bug fixes, slow first message on new chat. The reasoning is currently closed. When it's reasoning, it says reason for X seconds, but it's still thinking. I find myself opening it up, and I saw you open it up manually. We want that to open up automatically, so that's another thing. And then the styling of the chat input goes off screen, and sometimes you have to scroll down to get to it, and it should be pinned there. And so that's another, just pinning that. Those were some tasks that I've written down. And if it looks good, I'll probably have him do the cleaning up of the create artist button. And instead of me going back to fix that so that on the first click it works, I'll throw that to him. And I'll try to give him some of the tasks I was going to try to do to clean up the path I'm on, to align his work is like cleaning. I drive out the front, he does cleanup, and then he's constantly reviewing everything else to make it prettier with his own taste, because you and I both like where his taste is going.
Yeah, he's proactive with taste, and so I think that if we refine it a little bit, and he's just train him to always go to modern tools to get references, it'll be good. So yeah, all right, cool. That sounds perfect. Yeah, just whatever you got to do to make it easy so that we can keep moving him along and keep training. And I want him to feel momentum. And he shipped a bunch this week, so I want to make sure it's all good.
He feels rewarded.
Yeah.
Cool. Take us home.
Oh yeah. Thank you for watching. We got a couple comments. Or we got 1 comment.
We got 1 comment from David down here in the south of Argentina.
Let's go. What's up, mate?
Mate. This is Mate.
Oh, Mate in building. I was thinking he was from Australia. All right, David, appreciate you watching. Everybody else, appreciate you watching. That was the weekly recap for Recoup. Like and subscribe. Follow Sweets. Follow me. And tune in next week.